Hello again, this is Shinny with another edition of So You Want to Be Yak's Bend. Today we're going to go ahead and do Jerrifers, or Jerry, sometimes it's called, or Jennifers, because I guess that makes sense to some people. Moving right in here, I'll give my usual spiel that I do. You don't always... You notice there's a certain efficient order of upgrades for every tower. The general consensus is you want to go walls, doors, oil, cannon, fortify, mortar. That's not always the case. Sometimes, like in the case of Wild Creek, cannon is fairly useless. So you can just skip cannon and go straight to fortify and then go back to cannon after that. And there's slight differences for other towers. But in general, you want to just go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3. And the other little tidbit about this section, the Jerrifers is one of the towers that does not benefit from having second worker. So the only time you should buy second worker is after all these are done, or you're about to get a yak in and it's already full. Say it's like at 175, and you got 70 yak coming in, like right now. Then it's more efficient use of the supply. But the way the yak's timers are set up, there is no yak that will ever get to Jerrifers, no matter how fast it is speed boosted. That will make you lose supply when it gets to the tower if you have constantly running yaks. The exception obviously being right now when the tower is full of supply and we're about to get a yak in. I might have been too late. That's the only time second worker is worth it. The single worker will use supply at a rate fast enough, faster than the yaks can deliver it, pretty much no matter what. The only exceptions are usually the front towers. When you don't have SM, the front towers will upgrade much faster because the yaks go straight back and forth. Let's see here, I'll start with the mortar like I usually do. The mortar on this tower should definitely be the last structural upgrade to use. There is almost no purpose, if any at all, to having a mortar here. Maybe if you cap this tower and you're like red or blue, you can kind of notice there's a trev out there. You can use a mortar to hit stuff out of there, but no one in their right mind is going to try and take this tower with siege that's out there unless they're green. It's just silly. There's so many nice places to, well, somewhat nice places to hit Jerrifers from. You'll get ridiculously spotted if you're out here too. There's no way to stealth cap it. So the mortar is pretty much useless. You might as well just wait until the last upgrade to use it, to buy. Oil on this is pretty decent because it's such a cramped area, but it does suffer from the usual oil problems. You want to make sure you're as far back as you can get and still get the little pop-up, because you will get hit with all of the AoE, all of it. And you will go down really fast if you're not super tanky. The cannon on this one is actually particularly useful because there's so little range that this tower is involved with. That wall right there is not breakable. That means that if they want to attack this tower, they have to have something in here, and the available spots come all the way around to here for the most part. There's another one that I'll talk about later. It's kind of a secret, not so secret kind of thing. But the cannon can hit anything on here, and Usually people are in such a hurry they don't want to cause orange swords, so they won't burn down the cannon or the oil, and they want to be stealth-like, so you can get on the cannon and you'll get all the shots off and you'll hit all the numbers. You get like an 80-man Zerg there hitting them with the cannon. You'll max out the siege, the cap on the siege. So that's the basic emplacements. For ACs, I'm going straight into ACs here. Like I've said in other videos, this is always a great spot, little stairs like this, because you can see out over the edge, but they can't hit you with AoE. So that means your AC is very secure. So anywhere in here is good. Probably even up in here, you have a pretty good view. It's kind of difficult to get up here sometimes if you're not coming from the other side. But if you're up here, you got a pretty good vantage point of the wall here. And you can get the cat has a wee sometimes way down here. It's one of the few places that it can't too easily be hit by stuff from the keep. So back in here. Anywhere in here these are both destructible walls, so it's kind of a liability to put siege on them, because if the walls go down, they'll be destroyed. But with some of the EV towers, they stay up so long if you get them upgraded, and they're so easy to defend that you can kind of get away with putting the ACs on here, so it doesn't really matter. But you can put them anywhere along the corner here. And Jerrifers has an interesting gate. I think it's probably the only of its kind. And it's also one of the few towers where door tread is really difficult to get situated. You can set one up right back here, go all the way back. The splash will barely kind of hit. It's like I said, it's kind of iffy. I've seen them put back here, but this thing can kind of clip it sometimes. So with that in mind, I've also seen catapults put in here because they're a little more compact, and they'll be able to hit the gates. Not like they used to, but it's still something. And of course, any kind of ACs in here would be great. Yeah, but you don't really need them there, because Jerrifers has this nice little plateau thing over here. And while I'm over here, I'll mention any ramp like this right here, this little ledge is prime spots for ACs, because it's a little tougher to hit with AoE. They can't target it as well. You don't need to put ACs on here. You can if you really want to. The gold mine for ACs in this tower is up on this cliff right in here. As long as you can get a vantage point to get the circle down there. You want to make sure you have one over here too, because omegas and catapults can kind of tuck in right here and kind of splash the gate from below. So that's actually probably one of the safer spots to attack this tower from if you're scouted. Right here. So an AC right here makes that much more difficult. But ACs anywhere along in here is really fantastic, obviously. You know, such a great view. Tough to AoE, especially if it's like right here. And back here is really, really, really tough to AoE that. You want to be wary of them building a ballista out here, because that ballista will be able to take on any ACs along here. That's pretty much it for the ACs. There's another interesting kind of trend that I've noticed. Cloven can be, the gate can be trebbed from the keep, from right in here, all the way over up to here. But if you lose it, the most efficient way to cap it back is not to put rams down. It used to be that you would just start trebbing it from here, and you treb the gate down eventually, take forever, but the Zerg would go off and do their thing, and a couple random people would come along and cap it for you, so you wouldn't have to deal with back capping the stuff that you lost. But now you'll stick a scout in this tower, which is always good to have. Jerrifers is probably one of the big ninja towers that I've ever seen in the game. But you stick a scout in here, and you have some trebs up in this area, up in here, anywhere up in here really does it. And you can hit. Let's see if we get a good view here. The two walls here, both destructible. You can hit them with the treb from here. And for that matter, if they put close catas there, you can hit with the treb from here, and you can hit all in here. You can cow all this stuff. You can cow them in the camp from with the treb from here. Tons of fights happen in this area all the way back over there. It's a great way to drain supply with the cows. That's the main the treb. This is a very, if you're attacking the keep, like say you just capped this, this is a very dangerous tower to lose if they want to pressure your keep. If you lose this tower, then they have very assuming you do not have some countermeasures set up and are quick on it, responding. If they get the trebs up and secure, and you have nothing to take them back, to take them out, they can treb. Well, first of all, they can treb these down really fast, these two. But they can also treb down these. I think it's 3 walls there. All 3 of them. So with just losing this, and say they throw up 5 or 6 trebs in this tower, because everyone always got a bunch of supply if they come from this tower, and they'll probably already have that camp too, so they'll be getting supply that way from the yak and stuff if you don't kill it. So losing this tower is really painful if the person knows what they're doing. And of course, there's a depot right on the other side of this, so if you have the treb up here, you can directly drain the supply. Probably the same with over here if you're a good shot. Although you're probably better off over here because you can see it better. Keep those mortars up. With that said, that mortar, and there's a mortar right there. You can't really see it too well from here. Both of those and any kind of trebs in this area are going to be your savior if you lose this tower. They can clear all this stuff off, and they can get these walls down really fast to recap it, so they won't be able to bunker in there. But if you lose those trebs and the mortars, and you can't get them back up, and they can keep them down every time you try to build them, then that's when you're in the danger zone. Okay, let's move on to the not so secret kind of tricks of the trade. Now there's a catapult splash and treb as well is ridiculously huge. And when I say that, you can put a catapult here and you just tap it, and it will kind of hit in here somewhere. But the splash, which does just as much damage as anything, like the radius of it hits this wall. So if you're really stealthy, you just drop a catapult there, build like I was talking about with Alden's video. You run supply by yourself. You can this could be a fully fortified 700 out of 700 supply, tons of ACs, and if there's no scout, you can just sit there all day catapulting that thing down, and you'll get this wall down, and you just call your Zerg in if you can't cap it yourself, and free tower for them if no work. All you had to do was send one person. Very efficient use of your resources. So obviously you're going to want to put an AC up in there just in case, or watch for it. I haven't seen it done since the White Swords changed, which is weird because it's really the White Swords change is a really huge factor in capping this tower from that spot. ACs up in here too would work for this, and you can't see, and you get a pretty good view of down here. So you can't, you can't cat up there if you get ACs up in this area. It's tough to AoE them down. Okay, on to attacking. Jerrifers doesn't have a lot of really strong attack points. Like I said right here, so you can see where it was from this angle. It's actually my guild that has that claimed. Catapults anywhere in here will hit that wall, but they're vulnerable to the mortar that's kind of up in there, and I think there's one over here too. So not always the best way to come up from this angle. Usually that's just for capping back. If you lose it, it'd be a good place to put over here. You could try tucking it in this little spot here where the drakes are. Makes it harder to hit with a mortar. But you notice how tight this area is. This is kind of what makes it a death trap, like I was talking about with the ACs from up there. This wall right here is destructible, but you probably won't aim for that wall unless you're doing katas back here. You'll have the obvious rams, which you want to make note that the mortar and various treb placements, you can see a treb right there, can hit directly on this spot anywhere in here actually, and it will kill rams really fast, and so that's one of the reasons you have to be really stealthy when you try to catch Jerrifers. But one of the ways to do it that gets around most of the siege emplacements that people put up, you can see, you can kind of see the edges of the gate and the wall here. So if you have omegas, you can tuck the omegas back in here, probably far back as here, maybe a little farther. And it will be really tough for their ACs, and your cannon might be able to splash you, so you might want to burn that down. But probably the safest when you're scouted, the safest place to attack this tower is from back here. You can do katas to splash this, or say you put rams down and get like halfway through this gate health, and before they destroy your stuff. And you know you still have supply, but you can't put them there because they'll get destroyed. So you just come back here, you drop a couple katas, and it will finish off. It might take a little longer, but it will finish off that gate. And it's much more difficult to defend because they never put ACs up in here. And if they do put ACs up in here, you can AoE them down with meteor shower and the like. So it's your kind of sweet spot is right in here. Unfortunately, I never really see people try that. Start another upgrade. Normally I don't let them get full like this, but I'm obviously busy doing the video. You notice I didn't order another upgrade for the non-structural ones because the two workers in there will drain it fast enough. There is one other spot I have seen this attacked from, and usually this is used as more as a way to get fights because it's so conspicuous. But you can treb, if you don't put it too far back, you can treb over that wall to hit the other two walls. It will hit. It will take forever usually. They will probably respawn before you get the wall down, which is why I said it's a good way to get a fight. And I'll go ahead and walk over here so I can show the for the last thing, so I can show where the trap can hit. You want it when you're poison clouding to drain supply. You can hit anywhere in here, anywhere in the camp, anywhere along the path here. You can, if they put a ballista up here to take out siege and cloven, you can obviously get that down with a trap pretty easily. These are the two walls I was talking about with the catapults. I think the farthest it can go back is kind of somewhere in this area. Usually you don't need too much to more than that anyways, because you can get the walls down and still gas all the people along here. Okay, that's it for this edition of So You Want to Be Back at Yak's Bend. If you have any suggestions to add of placements for Siege, go ahead and put them in the comments, and I can make note of it for future videos. Eventually I'm going to be redoing the series as I get fully upgraded towers to use. Thank you for watching.